Hello. This is Dr. Copeland. I'm always reaching for something, I'm sure. I'm actually going to talk to you. I was looking through some of my herbal, if you can see this. This is the herbal tonic therapies. And I was looking through some of my herbal books, and I was realizing that there's not a lot about stroke on there. And that kind of worries me because, well, I mean, a lot of them are older books too, and I guess maybe they thought that, you know, strokes were for older people. But as we go along, like I said, I'm going to start cooking. I'll take you into my kitchen and show you some things, and I have some other books. But right now we need to talk about the stroke thing because the more I'm studying it, the more I find that a lot of infants and children and young children, babies and 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds have a stroke. And unbeknown to a lot of people, it's a lot more prevalent than what we're doing. We're not facing the issue. And I'm thinking just about how it affected me, and then now, like I said, I'm friends with a lot of people, and I think what we have to realize and what we have to recognize is that it's there. It's happening, and we have to do something about it. And I've seen one commercial with Wilburn. I can't think of what his name is right now, but he works with Michael Basin, and he does a commercial on a stroke. And other than that, I really haven't seen many commercials on strokes. And I think it's an outrage. I think it's an actual outrage. And so maybe, I'm being the local spokesperson and everything like that, and having a group. And if you're in Delaware, the first group starts the 12th of October. I think it's on a Wednesday. It's the 12th. And it's going to be at 1 o'clock, and it's going to be at Newark Natural Foods, which is on Main Street in Newark. And I think that we really need to make a little noise because, there needs to be more information out there. And I'm getting a lot of articles sent to me now by different people, and I'm realizing that a lot of people really don't know about this. Okay? And here it says, disorder of the cardiovascular system. While the heart is an extraordinary pump capable of years of uninterrupted activity until most trying of circumstances, it is subject to a variety of problems. Likewise, the tubes in the circulatory systems are also subject to deterioration over time. Some of the problems that can be encountered are listed, and one of them is stroke. A rupture, hemorrhoid, or blockage, thrombosis, or embolism of the blood vessel in the brain results in loss of oxygen to various parts of the brain. Symptoms include loss of consciousness, paralysis, slurred speech, vision disturbance, also called cerebral vascular accident or cerebral epilepsy, okay, and tissue death in fractions is a common result of stroke. Of course, then there's thrombosis, and then there's cerebral thrombosis, and then there's an embolism, okay, acute myocardial infarction or heart attack, and then arteriosclerosis, and then I never saw this one before. I can't pronounce this one. Hyperlipidemia and angina pectoris and intimate coagulation, pulmonary embolism and congenital heart disease, transient ischemic. They have a lot of stuff in here, okay, and whatever. But what I'm saying is that there is not a lot of stuff out there, not the way there should be. You know what I mean? And on every corner, and again, don't get upset, but both my parents died of cancer, so You know, I'm for cancer. I give to the Cancer Foundation. I would walk if I could. I can walk, but I can't walk, you know, that long. But you know, I've done a lot of things with them, and I'm just thinking that they don't realize what, or they don't want to realize, you know, what strokes do to people. And you know, I have a lot of people in wheelchairs, and just on an example, for me, not being able to talk, and I still don't have, like, what am I saying? It's there, it's in my brain, but sometimes it takes from the fore to the aft. You know, it takes a while for it to come forward. I can think it, but I can't always say it right away. So, you know, that troubles a lot of people, but that's just my brain capacity and the way it is. And at first, I couldn't even talk. I had a hard time swallowing. I'm just being able to chew little things like grapes, which was actually, I don't like a lot of fruit. You know, I'm beknowing to a lot of people, although I eat pretty healthy, I don't really like fruit. I eat a banana occasionally. If I do like fruit, it's like kiwi, it's like mango, it's like star fruit. I don't like, I guess, you know, you could say I don't like regular fruit, but I don't like apples. I used to like apples, but I don't like them. And I don't like, I like oranges occasionally, but I'm more of a vegetable eater than I am a fruit eater. And I think what happened was, you know, it made me, you know, like, for the things that I could like, I couldn't swallow it. I couldn't, I'm going to turn this light on. It's like a dark and dreary day today. That's better. It's like a dark and dreary day today. To get off the subject for a minute, I mean, you know, it's fall. It's October the 3rd. But, you know, my roses are still blooming. Actually, I feel like Alistair, I can't think of what his name was, on Channel 2, when I was getting ready to, when he was getting ready to introduce a story or whatever, he was always in front of a fireplace. Let's see if you can see my fireplace. So I'm in front of the fireplace now. Mind you, it's not wood. Okay? And I always wanted, how can you get into a 100-year-old house or so, okay, and not have a wood fireplace? Please explain that one to me. Still getting off the subject of it a little bit, but it really, it's an electric fireplace, but it's, you know, it keeps you warm and stuff like that. You know, so you can turn it off and actually have the fire going, which is really nice. You know, and it's really like one of those days when, you know, it's like beautiful yet serene, so to speak. Almost like, I don't know, it's kind of too quiet. And when it's usually quiet like that, something usually dumb happens. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, something has to be done about that. And I don't know what to do. I mean, you know, because, I mean, stroke is no joke. You know, that rhymed. But really and truly, it is no joke. And I think that we have to really start paying attention to what's happening to us. For those people that have had a stroke, for those people that have had, I think, TIAs or, you know, things like that. I mean, so many things happen. And we need to band together now and complain about it, but also to the fact that a lot of times things happen and you say, well, not to my doctor. I really have a good doctor, but I've heard people say they say things to the doctor and, you know, he scratches his head or whatever and says, well, you know, that's part of the stroke. And I think really what we're not paying attention to is trying to get people out and get them motivated and get them moved. And we need to have more, I guess maybe money or something put into it. You know, we can have these people come to these people's homes and things like that. I mean, they came to my home for the first couple of weeks or so. And that was good. That was really, really good. and they were really, really good. The Viata nurses, they're spot on. They are spot on. Because I had a speech therapist, and I don't think I would be speaking as well as I'm speaking had I not had that one work with me. Okay, and she worked with me 2 or 3 times a week and got me to say things and stuff like that. And it was really her that got me to speak, and taught me how to almost re-speak again. And it was there, I just couldn't say it, or it was so, kind of caught in my throat, so to speak. And now, even now, sometimes my throat gets really dry, so I always have water with me, or something like that, juice, but actually water is what really works for me. And I'm thinking, along the lines that, possibly, having more people get out and actually talk about what happened to them, and talk about that series of events that took place. Because like I said, one day you're just doing what you're doing, and the next day your life is completely changed forever. And some people actually get over it almost 100%. Some people like me get over about 95% of it. I'm always going to have a little limp. I'm always going to be a little gimp on my right side, I guess. God makes that choice, but it's just kind of horrible to see the way some of these people are treated, and we have to do something about that. At 63 years old, I should be doing what most of my friends are doing, but I'm not, because of the stroke. And that's okay. All right? I didn't plan on doing it forever anyway, but, things should be better for me. Things should be better for you. People don't really care. I don't want to say that they don't care. I don't think they know enough to care about what's happening. And I hear people all the time, like in the chat rooms that I belong to and stuff like that, saying that the worst people, again, to them are their family, because they don't know about stroke. They're not educated. They'll come to the aid of somebody that has cancer because it's all over the screen. Every time you turn around, they're on television. They're doing whatever to try to, make it known. So why doesn't a stroke victim get the same billing? I don't think one sickness is worse than the other one, because many of the people that I know have had massive strokes and died. And I don't know them. I know them through Facebook and other things, but they've had massive strokes and died. So, having a massive stroke, when you stop and think about it, you think having a massive stroke, well, she's 70 or 80 years old, well, that's it. But the other day, a girl that I know through the chat room lost a friend who was about 35 years old and had a massive stroke and died. So, it's not an old people's disease. It's a disease that's shared with everyone. And I'm thinking that, we have to get on this bandwagon now, and we have to start talking about what it is we're going to do to try to get some attention, to try to get some hope for some people. People are losing their houses anyway, but people are losing their houses because nobody's coming to their aid. Bills need to be paid. Those kinds of things we need to do to try to help them along. Because this is, funny about this. And I say this and not to be funny, but there are drug addicts that I know. And I know them because I used to work with them. I was a therapist in there. And they get Social Security and, and they get food stamps and they get other things. And that's okay. All right? I'm not mad about that. But what I'm mad about is the fact that we have people who have contributed to life, worked,